Is there a charger in my room?
Mute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Comics a la Mode, the podcast where myself, Russ, and Landon, we talk about comics, geek culture, movies, TV, video games, all things and everything that
Yes, sir.
pops into our heads and we want to talk about.
He's got it. He's right on the
Russ.
money.
This is Landon. We're back
up,
for
guys?
another episode. We haven't been, we didn't record last week because of work stuff.
Work schedules been crazy.
Sometimes work schedules just happen, and that's what it is.
So
But we're back. There's a lot to talk about, guys. We've got Gen V. We've got
so much
season finale for Gen V. We've got season finale for Loki. We've got the Marvels. We got comics. We got gaming. In 3 sentences, Landon, tell us what you have been doing. Like, what did you read anything? Did you watch anything?
Oh man, just all the stuff that you mentioned, right? I mean, if we just did a quick rundown of what like the topics that we have right now, we got like a bunch of trailers coming out. I don't know if we mentioned the Echo trailer on the last time we were on.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
We got more stuff for the Monsters, the Godzilla show coming out on Apple. A couple more things dropped for that. The Marvels came out, Loki wrapped up, Gen V wrapped up, but that doesn't mean content stops, right? We got Invincible coming out now.
True.
Gosh, probably another thing that I'm forgetting, but I've been catching up on all of that stuff. I've been trying to do my best on that side of things.
So much.
I'm ready. I brought my thoughts tonight. There's a lot going on. So
trailers wise, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes came out.
That's the one. That's what I forgot.
Amazing trailer. That is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Super hyped about that. We saw
more of that,
Echo,
please.
Which gave us glimpses of Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio. There's a lot coming out, a lot of stuff. The actor strike is finally over. So people are starting to come back, and we're starting to get updates. Superman Legacy has revealed that it is keeping its
July 18th, right?
July 18th, 2025 or 2024. One of those.
Yeah, it shoots next year, so 2025.
2025.
Production is back. That's
Marvel
great.
still pushed a lot of stuff back. That's fine. Like, honestly, at this point, especially once we talk about the Marvels, guys, you'll kind of see. I think we're both kind of in that spot where we are very happy that like a lot of this stuff is getting pushed back because it just gives that stuff more time.
And that's the thing about next year too, is like the only thing I'm really excited about is, I mean, except for Daredevil and now kind of Echo. Like Echo has my attention because of that awesome trailer that they put out. But the only thing that's really coming out next year, Marvel wise, is Deadpool 3, apparently. So they are getting right back into production. Reynolds, Jackman, the whole crew, they're
Actually,
back.
didn't Deadpool 3 get pushed, and I think Captain America 4 is in its place.
No, Captain America got pushed to next year, or not 2025, and
Right.
Deadpool is still coming out next year, according to what I've been
Interesting.
listening to.
Okay.
And it's like the only
I think
thing
I think I
that's
got
I
that.
wouldn't be saying that if I didn't I wasn't sure, because like that's the weird thing about next year. It's the only Marvel movie coming out, or MCU movie, I should say, because I think Craven is still coming out and like all that.
Oh, yeah, that's
Maybe some DC stuff, but like who cares? Like Marvel is what it
yeah.
is. But yeah, I mean, I'm so glad to hear that, because Deadpool is going to be crazy.
Yeah,
It's
especially
very
later.
good that the actors, got everything that they needed out of the AI stuff in the studios, and they're back to work. Fantastic, huge win for that side of things. So it's good to
Yeah, for
hear.
sure.
Really
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, so excited that movies are moving along.
Still salty about Dune getting delayed. I should be watching Dune for like the
Yeah,
third time this weekend, but I
yeah,
can't because that
Dune
was a big
is
bummer.
being
But
pushed back, and it's sad because that is such a giant movie.
I was so ready for it too, man.
And I
Yeah,
want to see it because Dune 1 is such a good movie to me.
it's really good.
But anyways, let's jump right into this. I want to talk comics real quick.
Yeah,
Because
Hickman. Big
uh,
things happening there.
yes, Jonathan Hickman is back with another big event. And this one is the reboot of the Ultimate Marvel Universe, which started back in like 2003. I think it's 2003. I could be getting that date wrong.
Yeah, sounds right to me. Early 2000s, like that edgy period, right? They were trying to reinvent the wheel with the comics and everything.
They were trying to reinvent the world as like, hey, we're gonna give all these characters new, updated, like modern origin stories, which really just ended up turning into, other than the absolute perfection that was Spider-Man, because they didn't really do a lot of changing other than like changing some of the characters, how certain things happen,
Mm,
and giving that whole character of Spider-Man a complete arc where you see him from the start to he ends up dying at the end of that run. It's utterly amazing. And then you get Miles Morales, which we'll get into that because I have a
terrific.
whole thing.
Probably the
It's
biggest
fantastic.
legacy of the Ultimates, right? Miles.
Yes, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the rest of that universe was really weird. Um, it turned Captain America into a giant, like kind of a racist dick. It turned
Hmm.
the Red Skull into Captain America's son that
Yeah.
like went full on Nazi
Hulk was a
because
cannibal.
his dad wasn't around. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Hulk was just crazy.
Thor was crazy. Don't even get me started on the Maximoff twins.
Yeah.
Horrible stuff.
So anyways, it was weird. This
But
new
that was the
Marvel.
thing. That was the thing about the Ultimate Universe,
Oh
is that
no.
they didn't want to be they didn't want to be burdened by all the history that Marvel had. They didn't want to be
Yeah.
tied down by anything, so they just started it new and did different things, and to varying degrees of success, right? Look, because you got the Maker, you got Miles; those are still mainstays and
Yeah, and
pillars of
so
the comics right now. So
the Maker is Reed Richards, who went crazy and went bad.
yeah, and that leads us into
He
Hickman stuff.
he transferred over to the Marvel Universe. They put him in prison. All this yada yada yada. The Maker has decided that he wanted to go back to the Ultimate Universe. Finds out
Yep.
that he can't. He ends up in a different universe, and in a different in like a short, there's like 4 issues. He ends up going to this universe and essentially recreating this universe. What he does is he
Mm,
essentially becomes God, and what he does is he takes away the essentially makes this world not have superheroes. So, like, perfect example, at the end of the issue, he swats the spider that was going to bite Peter Parker. So then Peter Parker never gets bit by a spider, never becomes Spider-Man.
yeah.
So then you have, in this whole arc, you have Howard Stark, who is Iron Man in this world,
Yeah.
realize that all of this is going on and is deciding to stop the Maker. What you find out later is that somehow Kang is in this universe, and this universe's Kang is someone that we don't know, but Howard Stark somehow knows and realizes that he's like, damn, like he's kind of sad about it. He stops the Maker, this, that, and the other. What you also find out is that Tony Stark is a kid in this universe. He becomes Iron Lad, which, if you know anything about comics, Iron Lad is the young variant of Kang the Conqueror, which at the end of the series, when you see Kang's suit, you realize that this Tony Stark will one day become Kang. It's very obvious when you look at the suit. The differences
and this is all due to the Maker just meddling with stuff. Like
Exactly.
basically he's taking a whole universe, meddling with it to the point that it starts becoming that ultimate universe that was lost, his original.
Well, it's
universe,
not even
right?
that. He's meddling with the universe so he could become God, because by what he does is he meddles with the universe so that there's no superpower, like no superheroes, so that he is the superhero, right?
Okay, cool. Interesting.
So it's really interesting on top of that, because he does this in certain ways. So he takes the spider away so that Peter Parker never gets bit, which now makes complete sense why this version of Peter that's going to be in the Ultimate Universe is an older Peter with family who's learning to become Spider-Man as an older person. He helps Loki take the throne of Asgard and throws Thor in jail. So this is why at the start of this Ultimate Universe #1, Thor is in jail and they're having to go save Thor. The other thing he does, which this is cool, and I love this process, is that he takes that version, that universe's Reed Richards, puts a helmet on him, and tells him he can never take it off. He like turns him into Destro from the G.I. Joes, where he can't take this helmet off. So then this version of Reed Richards in this universe becomes Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
So dope. It's like
I like that.
A cool version of like a hero version of Doctor Doom. So
it's like Doctor Doom on the Avengers. Like he's a founding member of this new Avengers thing that they got going on with Iron Lad, Tony Stark, and this Thor version.
And then so they break Thor out of jail, and they're essentially what they're going to go do is they're going to essentially remake these heroes. So perfect example, they have the spider that bit Peter Parker, and I can only guess that they're going to just go to Peter Parker's house and say, hey bud, you're supposed to be bit by this spider.
You need this. Take this.
Which, if that's the case, we're about to see some really funny like cuts of just them going to these heroes, supposedly heroes' houses, like, and be like, hey, you're supposed to, this is supposed to happen to you.
I was about to say, like, they bring a nuke, like a gamma bomb to Bruce Banner's house, but like Hulk, this is the other side of this whole ultimate invasion thing, is like the Illuminati that you know from the 616 universe. There exists like an Illuminati in what is happening here, right? And it's like a bunch of heroes that have kind of been skewed evil. I don't know if that's due to the Maker's kind of machinations here, or if that's just the way that the universe was. I haven't read this, but I have been trying to keep up with it.
It's all the Maker. It's all the Maker.
Because it's all the Maker, right?
Yeah.
So you've got like
Thor is in jail,
Captain Britain and Bruce Banner Hulk, but he's like smart Hulk and he's like really evil dictator Hulk. Like all these.
So they're the chosen ones. They were the ones. So this is the Maker's version of the Illuminati. Like this is his creation of the Illuminati. And what you find out in the previous series, which is the one that shows like Howard Stark, is that Howard Stark was brought in by the Maker to be part of the Illuminati. And that's also then why at the end of this one issue, Tony Stark is being turned into a terrorist, essentially.
By Hulk. Hulk is like, this is how we can twist this.
By the Illuminati. And so you have smart Hulk, or like smart Gandhi Hulk.
Hulk. Yeah, he's like all zen and everything.
You have Captain Britain, which I don't know this character.
I think it's Brian Braddock, but he's just like, it's basically like all the kind of, because you got mutants, you got like Colossus and magic.
You have the
different portions of the world represented in the hero power community.
And what's really cool too is that these different factions, like one plays the villain, and then the others team up and fight the villain. And then when they stop that villain, then another part of this Illuminati turns into the villain. And they say it's all to keep people preoccupied so that they don't realize there's something wrong in this world.
Yeah.
And it's like really cool. Very cool. I'm very excited for this thing. I'm more excited about this series than Gods. And Gods is really interesting right now too. That's another Jonathan Hickman style event.
I haven't been keeping up with Gods. Is that feeding into Ultimate Invasion at all?
No.
Or is that just
that's thing? It's just focused on like the magic science universe.
So is the Ultimate stuff going to cross over and bleed into 616, or is it just a separate thing?
I don't think so. I don't think for a while. I think that's why
they're like, here's what the maker's doing.
Yeah. I think they're restarting this universe so that they can tell different stories in a different area.
For sure.
But this gets to this is an interesting rant that I saw on Twitter last week, and I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we're talking about Ultimate stuff. So that
talking about Ultimate stuff.
This.
One of the things that has been permeating Twitter all over the place right now is this: Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Because everybody keeps saying, no, Miles Morales is Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. And he's technically in Marvel's continuity. He is Spider-Man. People call him Spider-Man. The problem is when you have two Spider-Man and you just go, good job, Spider-Man. Hey, good job, Spider-Man. Hey, good job, Spider-Man. It's like, what is happening?
Who are you talking to?
It's what is happening? The problem is that Miles Morales was a successful legacy character when there was a legacy to follow. In the Ultimate Universe, Spider-Man dies. And so there's this kid that realizes that he got bit by a very similar spider. And so he starts becoming Spider-Man, i.e. Miles Morales. He is Spider-Man. He ends up being trained by Aunt May. So Aunt May literally goes, hey, I saw my nephew go through everything as Spider-Man. I'm going to help you. And she helps Miles Morales become Spider-Man and everything, which is great. That's fine.
In the absence of a Spider-Man, Miles steps up to be Spider-Man.
In the absence of a Spider-Man. The problem that came into place with Marvel is that they were like, hey, we want our cake and we want to eat it too. And when they shut down the Ultimate Universe, they brought Miles Morales over. Well, Miles Morales is now Spider-Man, and Peter Parker is the 616 version of Peter Parker, but he is also now Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, folks. It's simple as that. Miles Morales needs a name change because Marvel needs so badly because they're hurting his character by trying to amalgamate him into this thing that he is not, and he needs his own identity. Perfect example: you look at Spider-Man 2099, Miles Miguel O'Hara. All of these different Spider people have a different name. Even Cindy
Scarlet Spider, Silk, right? Spider-Woman, Ghost Spider,
and they're all very different. They're all able to separate their.
And the key again is that Miles existing in the 616, there exists a Spider-Man here, and I think it's important too to realize, like, even in the Spider-Verse movies, the universe where Miles Morales comes from, he witnessed Spider-Man die. Ergo, he is now Spider-Man. He is the Spider-Man of that universe because that Spider-Man is gone. In the another example, a different example, but still relevant, Spider-Man 2 video game that just dropped.
Yeah.
You have Peter at the end of that game choosing to lead a normal life with MJ, I think, apparently. Based on what I have seen. He is like, I need to step away from the mantle for a little while. A gap has been created. You need a Spider-Man. Miles Morales fits that bill perfectly, but in the absence of a different Spider-Man.
To that
in the
point,
meantime,
to that
his
point,
own identity.
Yeah. To that point, though, sadly, is the problem with the Spider-Man games for PlayStation is that you get two different times where Miles literally goes, I wanted a Miles Morales original. And he like just changed his suit. Like,
oh, that costume sucks, by the way.
At which it's such a bad costume.
But like universally hated.
The problem is that proves our point.
He is like looking
Miles
for his own identity.
An identity that is not tied to Peter Parker Spider-Man. Like, name him Arachne Kid or something. This kid, he's 15 years old. He doesn't have to be Spider-Man right now. But all of this backstory to come to the point, there's going to literally be, Twitter is literally going to start a race war over the fact, over this Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. It's the funniest thing on the planet because everybody is taking this so
it's so weird,
race focused, and it's like, it's not, it's just simple facts, folks.
He's a great character. There's no denying that.
But like, you got to give him his own identity. That's the point. Not the race.
The Robin thing is very important in this matter too.
So to that point,
legacy characters in their
I saw something on Twitter where this person was replying to somebody who said Miles Morales is Miles Morales. And they were like, imagine someone saying this about Robin. And so I replied, I was like, imagine being so naive to think that Robin is the same as Spider-Man, because it's different. And then here's why. You like, in DC, Batman is Bruce Wayne. Always has been, always will be. Always. Even in Batman Beyond, he is Terry McGinnis is technically Batman, but he is Batman Beyond. Everybody literally calls him Batman Beyond. He's not Batman because Bruce Wayne is there, but Bruce Wayne handed the mantle. So to that point, Dick Grayson, first Robin.
Passing of the torch.
Was Robin, then wanted to do his own thing, became Nightwing. Then Bruce Wayne dies. He picks up the mantle of Batman, becomes Batman. Bruce Wayne comes back. He goes, hey, here's your mantle back. I'm going to go back to being Nightwing. Cool. There's an opening for Robin. You know, Jason Todd becomes Robin, gets killed by the Joker, becomes Red Hood when he is revived. Tim Drake becomes Robin, stays Robin for a while, but then says, hey, I'm not going to be your sidekick anymore. And so he adopts the moniker of Red Robin. And then Damian Wayne becomes Robin. Now, to that point, Tim Drake has recently just gone back to being Robin. And so now technically we have two Robins. But having two Robins is fine. Because at the end of the day, the Robin mantle has always been more about being the kind of the Batman underling than it has been about being its own character.
Right.
Because Robin doesn't have his, like, a lot of the Robins don't have their own, like, when they're Robin, they don't have their own bad guys. They are the sidekick to Batman. That's the whole point of Robin. So they're not their own. There's a part that's still tied to that character. So you can have multiple Robins, and we've seen multiple Robins, and it not be the same as like, hey, Miles Morales is Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Two very different things. I just had to clear that up because like it literally, I was like, huh?
Yeah, it's really an interesting conversation. And there's no denying Miles is a great character. He is worthy of the Spider-Man mantle. Yeah. Nobody's arguing that point. It's just, it's confusing when two characters of the same name exist. There's got to be, and you know, Peter Parker, he's the OG, he's the original. He is always going to carry that name. It's just a matter of as he steps down or as he dies or as that name passes on to Miles, it's his once Peter's out of there is the thing that I don't think everybody's on board with. But it's cool. It's interesting. I as you've been talking, I've been trying to comb the internet for like alternate names that they could give Miles Morales.
Arachnid
couple of Arachnid Kid Arachnid.
Yeah.
Somebody said Spin. I don't know where Spin comes from. I don't like it, but you got to kind of tie in his different powers. Like
if he was younger, you could call him Spiderling and just, or like they've literally. So here's the other funny, hilarious thing is Marvel has literally created out of thin air a sidekick for Spider-Man called Spider-Boy.
Spider-Boy, why not? Yeah.
And legitimately, it was like, hey, we're coming to the end of the multiverse or like the Spider-Verse. And it was like, hey, actually, what you didn't realize, Marvel, is that Spider-Man did have a sidekick in the 616. His name is Spider-Boy. Everybody forgot about him. So now you get to learn about him. And I'm like, huh?
Spider-Boy.
Anyways.
I don't know.
We're going to
Marvel's creative. They'll figure something out.
I'm going to stop. They're not. They will not. They're going to stay on this.
Well, if they could. I mean, if they wanted to, they could come up with something. But
they absolutely could. But we're gonna move on because I need to stop ranting about Marvel.
No
comics.
worries. What's next?
Let's talk Gen V.
Gen V.
The finale was really good. I enjoyed it. I'm very interested to see what about season 4. There's not a lot that I have to talk about it on.
Yeah, it was solid. I mean, it was.
But I think it was a great end to the series. Very weird ending too. Like the way that it like ends.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
It tied a bunch of storylines up like very quickly. That last 10 to 15 minutes. I don't want to say it falls apart, but it's very clear like we need to wrap this up so we can move into the boys, you know, because like as soon as Homelander arrives on the scene, it's so interested in stopping the Gen V stuff just to hint at what's next for the boys universe. And in that way, that last 10 minutes just felt rushed. I was like, oh, we're done. This is the end. You know, there's no answers about where the Gen V kids ended up, like in that prison cell with no walls. That's not answered. That's something that's going to be left to either the next season of the boys or season 2 of Gen V. We don't know. What I did like though was Homelander's inclusion, because I knew it was coming. It was just, how is Homelander going to be involved with this? And it's simple. He flies down. He recognizes Marie is going after Soups, and he uses that as a tactic to basically attack her and, you know, prove that he's a super like racist and, you know, you're attacking your own kind. Oh, laser, easy. And then he spins it in the media. So simple. Like that's cake for Homelander to spin something like that. And it's
it
straight
was
up. I mean, that's the character. It was
like,
cool to see.
The ending made sense. Very interested to see what them all like showing up in a padded cell, what that's gonna do.
Who has them? What? Yeah. Where is that? Are they also in Vought Tower? Like, what's going on?
It's also crazy to see that the girl with the touch powers.
Oh yeah.
And Luke's brother are like the heroes of Godal.
What's her name? Kate.
Kate. Sam and Kate. And
Sam.
It's very interesting to see that they're the heroes, and it's very interesting to see where that's going to lead.
Yeah, dude, because they're a team. They're going to be like Team Homelander because they're on the side that, you know, Soup Lives Matter and all that stuff. And
yeah, so
it's cool how the series has chosen to set its characters on definitive sides. Like they chose their side, Kate and Sam. You have the rest of them.
Yeah,
it's cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, this show is not afraid to do things that will put their characters in a very odd spot.
Yeah,
which is really cool to see, because then you get to see either it either goes the way you think it's going to go, or it goes in a completely different direction that you would never have thought of and you never thought somebody would do. You know, it's very cool. I love that's why I love this show.
It's also
what the show does.
One of the appealing factors of The Boys is just the gruesome deaths that you get. So if you got a campus full of Soups and all of them suddenly turn on the regular normal people,
it's about to get wild.
There's some really satisfying fun kills, the way that, you know, some of these superheroes, but like super powered individuals, these very lost and broken people using their terrifying, horrific abilities. My favorite kill was definitely Marie uses the blood powers. You know, there's death all around her, bodies strewn everywhere. She is like, I can control like not just my blood, but just blood in general. All these dead bodies, using the blood from the dead bodies and going after that teleporter. Was it a teleporter, like a lizard boy or something? Anyway, she forms these blood spikes and it just she shoots it forward.
Yes.
And it just like this kid, it was crazy. That was so cool to see.
Like turns the blood hard and everything.
It's like hard light. Like Green Lantern's got the hard light stuff. It's basically Green Lantern powers, but with blood. I think she can make blood constructs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool abilities that felt very fresh to like the boys universe. And it's gross and it's disgusting, and that just fits right in. Yeah, so very cool to see that. And it was a satisfying finale. It left our characters in interesting spots for whatever comes next. And it was entertaining. You have Ashley screaming her head off with the board of directors for Vought. And like during the carnage on campus, they're trying to figure out how to weasel their way out of this alive. And as everything hits the fan, they're having a board meeting about who should join the 7 next.
Yeah.
And once shit hits the fan, she's like, okay, whoever gets us out of this situation can be the 7. And so they start calling people, and she calls Marie, and like Marie's like, what? It's so funny. Very interesting show. Yeah. It's good.
No, it's fun. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say on that. I think we should just get into Loki, because I know that's what we really
another great
about.
interesting
Holy
show.
cow. I was talking to Joe on the way on the drive, because he just got caught up, and it's, dude, again, I said this in the beginning with Loki. I was not a fan of season 1. I didn't care. I don't care about the Loki character. Loki peaked at the end or beginning of Infinity War. That was his full arc. That felt satisfying to me. And so when they brought Loki back and we're like, oh, hey, guess what? It's a variant. And he's actually just he's never experienced any of this. He just got captured at the end of the first Avengers. I didn't care, because that wasn't the Loki that I gave a crap about. Like it was more fun to see this Loki that like
growth, character growth.
Grew, but also like had those experiences with his brother, and like made up with his brother, and like
he lost his father.
Lost his mother. Like you saw, like even at the
Thor: the Dark World,
like
character development for Loki.
He developed so much in just that. Like you
obviously the best part of that film too. So great.
So I didn't care. And like
understandable.
Even at the end of season 1, I still didn't really care. But then when I started this show, I watched the recap. I'm like, okay, he did have to watch himself on a movie. He did have to do all of that.
They got to get him caught up.
And then he did have to deal with the one above all. Excuse me. I was like, okay, cool. And then episode 1 sucked me right in. I was like, oh, okay. This is a very different character than we saw at season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, this finale, like it's essentially a Groundhog's Day episode for
time loops, timey-wimey, mumbo jumbo.
Because at the end of the last episode, he figured out his whole time slipping thing and figured out how to control it. So then you get this groundhog moment where he's trying to stop the TVA from exploding. And
the temporal loom.
Just that whole scene, I was like, it was funny because right as I was starting to get a bored by it, they flipped the script again.
You're talking about when he goes in the loom and starts grabbing dead timelines and
no. So even before that, like when he keeps resetting to try to save the loom, he keeps like shoving Timely out into the thing. Go. Oh yeah. How long is it going to take to learn all of the quantum physics that you know? Centuries. Time card centuries later. Okay, so and they're like, wow, tremendous. you're so knowledgeable. He's like, yeah, I know. Just like the whole thing. I was like, I was into it, and then it was funny because I remember thinking, man, are we gonna keep doing this? And right as I said that, they flipped the script again.
That's the thing. I think throughout this season, because it feels different than the other Marvel shows. I'll be watching something like Secret Invasion, and it kind of has my attention, but then it's just kind of over. The way that Loki is paced and these episodes play out, you'll get to a point and it's like, oh, the episode's done. Wrong. You still have like 20 more minutes in an episode. So when you're talking about the time loop and Loki jumping back to these points to try to save the loom, right? You get the time jump, the centuries later, Timely's walking the gangplank and it's going well. Things are progressing, but you can tell that Loki's been doing this before to varying degrees of success. It's like, is Timely going to die this time, or is it going to succeed? And they succeed. The loom is saved. He shoots whatever so much technical jargon, but they do whatever they need to do the loom, and it's okay. And Loki's like, it worked. Everybody's celebrating. It's so good. And I'm like, where's this going? And again, I checked the episode. I paused just to see how much time was left. We weren't even midway through the episode at that point. So now I'm sitting there. Okay, they saved the loom. Great. Where else does this go? And then that's when it kicked in that, no, they didn't save the loom. And he's got to go back even further. He's got to go back to when Timely gets to the TVA. He's got to actually go to the villains and say, hey, I need your help.
But to that point, like the way they do that, the way they're like, oh, hey, actually, you think you saved the loom? And like everything about how they were going to fix the loom made sense. It was like, okay, this makes sense canonically, makes sense in this version of their universe. Like it makes sense.
And the time loop is fun. Yeah.
But then when they realize that it's not working, and then they realize why it won't work, and they were like,
you're always screwed by it. It's infinite.
It's infinite. I was like, why wasn't I thinking about that? Like, why didn't I? And that was really cool to me because I was so bought into the fact that if they do this one thing, it will work.
Yeah, exactly.
That I totally actually forgot. No, that's not how the multiverse works. That then when they finally explained that, no, that's not how the multiverse works.
Obviously, there is no way to funnel infinite timelines.
I was like, oh yeah, duh. Like I was like, but like that's the best part about this show, this season, is like,
and I think
this season made you buy into everything. And then also went, oh, hey, you forgot this one thing because we had you so bought into this thing.
But that's what's so engaging about it. And I think it's really smart that it's Timely who it's Victor Timely who realizes this, right? The inventor of this. Of course, it's like once you hit that point and you're like, oh yeah, no, this isn't going to work. And this is why. It takes the success of it to realize that it is a failure, right? Because you haven't gotten to that point yet. And then it's revealed through Loki going back to when Sylvie's about to kill He Who Remains. I loved going back to the Citadel at the end of time and seeing that confrontation play out from a different angle. Loki got to sit down with He Who Remains, and that's, I think, Jonathan Majors' strongest performance as this variant Kang person. Absolutely. Loved seeing that. And then He Who Remains is like, he adopts kind of the Timely stutter for a minute. He's like, oh, did Timely talk to you about time? Well, of course it's not infinite, right? He's kind of making fun of his variant Timely. And it's at the end of the day, the loom was never meant to have multiple timelines running through it. It was always meant to protect just the sacred timeline. So they're even fixing the loom to it's a scaling problem. Oh, Timely said it was a scaling problem. Did he? Oh, Timely. It's so good. I love that. But yeah, it makes sense. And so now Loki's thinking, oh, I'm just screwed. Well, not exactly, because the whole inciting incident was He Who Remains death.
Yeah.
So he's now thinking the only way to save all of this is to kill Sylvie before he kills He Who Remains, right? That's what they want you to think. And that's what He Who Remains thinks. It's like, what are you going to do now? Until Loki is like, what if I have already mastered time? And you have like He Who Remains flexing on Loki because he knows everything. Who's paved the road, right? He always says that.
Yeah.
And he's stopping and starting Sylvie and dropping her in and out of time, flexing on Loki. But then Loki flips the script and he's like, I can control Sylvie too, because like I can also control time now. I've mastered my time slippage. And that leads into a really interesting conversation with Jonathan Majors and Hiddleston going at it at this scene. I can't remember exactly what they say, but at this moment, He Who Remains is no longer arrogant about the fact that he's the master of time. They are both at a level playing field at this point. And you see Majors shift into this, well played. Okay, now we can talk. Now we're on the same page. And I love that, seeing him be humbled to that point and Loki be on top of things. What thoughts on that? I mean, it was such a great scene. And then it's just the talking parts that have me so engaged.
Yeah,
and
no,
from there,
I
he goes and talks to his friends, and there's great dialogue. Oh,
What he actually, so I just saw this today. He ad-libbed the
That was a
Thor,
great callback.
the
Oh,
callback
yeah.
to the original Thor
Yeah.
when he's about to let go and he's hanging off the edge of the Bifrost that has been
Yeah.
destroyed. And he says, for all of us,
I
think
could
he
have done
says,
it, Father, for you, for
for
all of
you,
us.
for all of
No
us.
Loki.
And then
Yeah.
he
And
lets
it's that
go.
word,
And
that
he
wordage.
says that again when he's finally realized what he has to do.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
he has to finally. So then he's what? Also,
It's great. So
side
good. And I
note,
can't believe that was improv.
side note for a
That's
second.
true.
I saw this and it kind of made me mad because this is the world we live in today. There's a headline in, I think it was Colander or Variety, and it was like, we're Loki and Morbius plutonic. Showrunners weigh in, and I'm sorry, and this is just, I have to say this, guys. Can we stop turning everything gay?
Yeah, it's super annoying.
Like
You just gotta ignore those people.
especially with dude characters, like everybody, the fanfics about Captain America and Winter Soldier, and now Loki
That
and
one's
Morbius.
particularly offensive to you, Russ. I can tell. You like
Yeah,
leave Winter
well,
Soldier alone. Get out of here.
Stop, don't be.
It's super
Anyways,
annoying. I get it. Like
but like,
they gotta inject their politics in everything.
it's crazy too because like nothing in this season specifically, especially about Loki and Morbius's relationship, is anything more than it is two guys who who connect, who are there for one another. And it's like, it's crazy that we have to kind of like deal with that. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah, it's
Anyways,
like
gonna move
what
on.
two guys can't have a brotherhood bond that extends far enough that they love each other because of that brotherhood. Like I got a discipleship on Thursdays. These are guys that I can turn to for anything. I love these guys. I would die for these guys. These are my guys, right?
Yes.
And that's what Loki and Morbius have. Morbius. I said Morbius.
And
Mobius.
It's funny too with Mobius because
then they got to twist it and make it something that it's not, and it's super.
It's really funny too with Mobius because every time he goes back and says this time, like you see the scenes with Loki, he's like this time, and Mobius is like this time,
what?
This time, like wait, what?
Oh, did you notice that skin is still written on the computer console too? Like when Mobius was like, skin? Do I need it? I want it. Like when the first time that he went out on the gangway, and skin is still there. It's funny to notice little things like that.
But Loki goes out on the gangway, and you get one of the most epic scenes.
So good. Top 10 MCU scenes.
So epic because as he's walking out on the gangway, he's having all this temporal energy hit him. He should be starting to like disintegrate. But
we've seen it happen to Timely like a million times at this point.
We've seen it every time. We saw what happened to Mobius when he was out there. Like you're seeing his suit degrade, and Loki's just out there in his just tie and his suit coat from the TVA, and he's just like starts doing his whole green magic thing. And as he's doing that, instead of just disintegrating, it's so epic because you see
so cool.
His tie and the trench coat start to disintegrate, but it turns into a dark green, like flowing robe, and then you see the horns start to grow.
Bro, he is becoming a god at that point again.
He is becoming this Loki, the god of mischief. Then, as he breaks the loom, and he's fully standing there as the god of mischief, as this Loki, there's something off because his horns are black. He's got he has like a visor. I don't like it. I wish it would have been more of a helmet, but I understand. I get it. Like it's fine. Like I can get over it.
It's different. I think the look really works though. I love the robes. I love the slippers.
I think the only thing I want is I needed something on the side of his head to be like on the side, not like super obtrusive like a helmet would be, but like
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's
It
a lot
kind
of
of
weight
feels
for
out
just
of balance. It's
for
like that
just
should
to
be like, bro, your neck should be like this because those horns are
exactly.
so big. Yeah, no, I get it.
But he's standing there and he's destroyed the loom.
The
And
loom is gone.
reality, the weaves, the weaves of the multiverse are just out there hanging and they're dying off. And
Dead branches.
he grabs one and uses his power and essentially shakes it back to life. And you just start seeing him walking and grabbing. And as he grabs them, the strands of the multiverse are starting to come alive. And he's moving, he's walking through. And you're starting to realize this is not Loki, the god of mischief, anymore.
Yeah.
This is something else. And I had this argument with Joe because I do not think this is Loki. This is not Loki, the god of stories.
I don't know anything about God of Stories, so I like the title, but
in the comics right now,
different.
he has become Loki, the god of stories. Now, the cool thing about Loki, the god of stories in the comics is he can literally rewrite the multiverse. Like he literally can pick up a pen and be like, hey, you know what? I want to write this into existence. So to that point, if he was the true god of stories, he could have just rewritten the multiverse.
All the theatrics with the branches wouldn't even be necessary.
He could have just rewritten and be like, no, the loom is gone, and this is not how the multiverse works. Could have done that. There is I saw a video on this because sometimes my own knowledge of comics, because comics have been around for so long, I have to do my research.
There's so many good resources out there too.
Comics Explained talked
Great
about
channel.
That. He talked about this, and there is a character called the Caretaker of the Multiverse, and essentially this guy, and hilarious, crazy enough, he's all green, like literally, it's a green alien dude. He's the caretaker of the multiverse, which to me, I think this makes more sense that Loki is the caretaker of the multiverse, because what was the multiverse before? The multiverse was going into a loom. It was all about thread. It was all about weaving, right?
It was about one sacred timeline.
Right. But the idea is that the one above all is weaving the threads of time, essentially. That's the metaphor that they've used for all of this. What happens when Loki grabs the threads and the strands of the multiverse?
It's green.
It becomes a tree.
A tree. Oh yeah, Yggdrasil.
What is a caretaker? What in the past, what would a caretaker do? He would prune.
He would nurture the tree.
He would nurture. He would
help it grow.
A lot of times he was the caretaker of a grove. Like there was always, like in the medieval times, there was always a caretaker that took care of the property, of the house, of the trees, of everything. So that's where, for me, I think he is the caretaker of the multiverse, because also that then
I like that theory too.
I think it's so cool, but also I love, dude, the image. I instantly went, oh, did he just essentially turn the multiverse into Yggdrasil, the tree of life?
We have the world tree, and now it's
multiverse
tree.
Because my question is, do we have the world tree in actual MCU up until this point? We had the Bifrost, but did we ever I guess we did have the world tree.
In my memory, there are two instances where I can remember the world tree. It was in the first Captain America, the first Avenger, you have Red Skull going after the Tesseract, which is in a mural, but this is like on Earth. This is humans' interpretation of it. But the Tesseract has been hidden in a mural of Yggdrasil, and it's at like the bottom or something. It's in one of the realms, like the Earth realm or whatever. So that was like the first instance of seeing Yggdrasil. And then I think in Thor: The Dark World, when Odin is scanning Jane Foster because she has the Reality Stone hidden in her, he mentioned something about the world tree and like science is magic or whatever. Like that whole thing about Thor.
I think he mentioned
science is just
couldn't see her.
maybe it's the Bifrost or something. I think those are the only two instances where even if they did, that would be where it is. But this could just be like Yggdrasil in the MCU. I would be cool with that.
I mean, that might be the case because I'm okay with that because that's my initial thought was, oh, this is the World Tree, but like on a grander scale, like,
and it makes a lot of sense.
Like this, yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. It's fascinating, dude.
I think I like the caretaker analogy too because it fits with what the purpose of the TVA now has become, which is essentially, well, you see all the propaganda in the TVA leading up to the finale, and it's all about pruning and cutting branches and physically destroying these things. Also, that it leads to the He Who Remains, the timeline where he is at the end of time, right? That is the purpose of the TVA, to make sure that no Kangs come about and mess with the timeline that He Who Remains is in. Like that's the whole purpose of it. So now that's the question is like, what is the TVA now?
Well, okay,
right.
So
and then I think it's to all the propaganda has then changed to that of caretakers, gardeners, nurturers. They are helping the tree grow. And you see this kind of reflected in the people who work now at the TVA. You have these almost nuclear physicist power plant type guys in their gardening uniforms, like this all white uniform. And you also have all the different functions of the TVA working together. You have judges, you have
it feels it feels
engineers,
less,
you have
it
agents.
feels less Soviet Union.
It's less Soviet Union. Yeah, that's for sure. They're all working together. And then you have that addition, which is that guy in kind of the gardener's uniform. And now it's all about letting it grow. Oh, there's a new timeline, a new branch. Well, here's a whole section of the TVA dedicated to that and helping it reach its natural conclusion timeline as part of the tree. I love the analogy there, the parallels to, Norse mythology with Loki and Yggdrasil. And I had a theory before because Comics Explained was hyping up what he thought it was going to be. I casted my ballot and I kind of gave an idea of what I think it could have been. I still kind of like this, but we're getting a What If season 2, right?
Yep.
That's on the way.
Oh yeah, you said this. Yeah.
And I know at one it is most definitely confirmed that the Watcher is going to be back as narrator of that.
Right.
I think it would be cool if, okay, the Watcher's out. Let's slide Loki into that narrator position because he sees all of time and space now and he sees the timelines as they form. And I thought it would be cool. And I thought maybe that's where Rob was going on Comics Explained. Oh, Loki's the new Watcher type.
Dude, so this brings up an interesting thought because we got news today, and I forgot we should have talked about it. We got news today that the main writer on Avengers Kang Dynasty is no longer there.
I think his name's Michael Waldron. Yeah, they're dropping Kang.
It's something Jeffroy. Is
what really? I thought. Hold on, let me see.
He got booted off. He's no longer there. And I've been seeing a lot of theories where it's like, okay, does this mean we're like, they've already said that it's like Marvel. Yeah. We've got a lot of reports that Marvel is moving away from Jonathan Majors.
Sorry, Michael Waldron is the guy who created Loki, and he is now being slotted into that position. Yeah, I can't remember the guy who's taking
so then over. that even makes more sense to me here because Marvel has talked about how we've heard a lot of reports that they're moving away from Jonathan Majors, which is understandable. He's got a lot going on press-wise that's not good. That's negative press. It's not good press. Even if you believe the rumors that he is, a woman beater or not, out of either side of that, it's bad press. Any of that kind of press is bad press, no matter what. So it's interesting because if they're slotting the writer for Loki in, I've seen a couple different thoughts. It's like, okay, and you've even hyped this up and we've talked about this, is like, okay, are they going to slot Doom in instead? Yeah. Which I've also seen other thoughts where it's like, hey, the only way the MCU gets back to its former glory is if they stop doing all of this B-list, C-list character stuff, and you go, okay, Fantastic Four and X-Men, which I agree with a lot of that. And in that case, then are we going to see a place where it's like, okay, instead of Kang, he's out. We're going to go with Doom. But the other thought process to that, and I've seen this jump around, which I want to hear your thoughts, is what if it's Loki?
As the big bad for like Secret Wars?
Well, so this is why I
Loki taking the place of Kang? What do you mean?
So I've seen a couple. They didn't explain it all the way through. It was just kind of a theory, and it was more of like just a title card. It was literally just the title card of Avengers, the Loki dynasty, or Avengers, the Doom dynasty. So there's an option. There's an option with where Loki is in the multiverse right now, because again, Sylvie said when she realized what Loki was doing, what did she say? She said, he is giving us a chance. What is Loki becoming the caretaker of the multiverse?
The biggest question is, what is Loki's place in the MCU now? How does he fit into all of this?
Well, that, but also to Sylvie's point, what is Loki as the caretaker of the multiverse? What is he giving the multiverse a shot from? Is he giving the multiverse a fighting chance from Kang?
I don't think so. I don't think it's Kang, simply because the Loki finale, actively says like Kang is not much of a threat anymore, right?
Like, no, they say Kang is not aware of them. So this could be
true.
This could be a point where it's like
they don't even like mention Kang. It's like variants of He Who Remains.
Yeah, the process.
Like Kang is never even. The word Kang is like never spoken.
We all know that all Marvel has to do is,
that's true.
This is the guy with variants. All they have to do is recast Kang. It's not that hard.
For sure. Yeah, it's not hard.
But to that point, essentially what the TVA's goal now is, it's protecting the multiverse. But it's protecting the multiverse by making sure that Kang doesn't get anywhere near the capability and power to A, start the multiverse war.
Yeah.
And B, then become He Who Remains, right? My point, that's what it feels like.
That is what it feels like. And you're right. They did say that he is unaware of them. And that's because He Who Remains is no longer at the helm of things. That's because it's Loki now. He fulfills that role. I do feel like the finale. Why do I keep saying finale? I do feel like the finale lessened Kang's role. I think that might be a part of reshoots and a restructuring of the MCU at the moment. I think they saw Loki was working and they used it as a way to do that, because you get the sly Quantumania reference, right? It's like, this is the whole conversation that they have. Hunter B-15 walks in. Mobius is at his desk. Did you hear about the He Who Remains variant? He's like, oh yeah, but they took care of it on the sacred timeline, or on the timeline. They took care of it. It's fine. We didn't even have to, the TVA didn't even have to step in. It's like the Ant-Man's got it or whatever, right? That's the whole reference. That makes me right off the bat feel like, okay, He Who Remains is not much of a threat at this point, right? Okay. Because the TVA is in charge, Loki's in charge,
right?
So the big question is, what is Loki's place now? Because he is a crucial part to the universe, because he is holding all this together essentially at the end of time, or wherever he's at on his throne. Literally, as you were talking about sliding in Kang for Doom or Loki for Kang or whatever, I was thinking Doom is the ultimate power in Secret Wars.
Dude, okay, sure.
He literally calls himself God in Secret Wars. Like, there's no denying he is the one.
I think my brain just caught up with you. I think I know where you're going.
Who is behind Doom?
Come on, spit. Let's go.
It's the Molecule Man, dude. It's Owen Reese is the second half of that power to Doom. Literally, this just clicked like 10 minutes ago as you were talking about this. We don't have an Owen Reese Molecule Man in the MCU.
True.
And the whole thing about in Secret Wars, where is Owen Reese? He is locked in this cell. He is the energy, the life force of Doom. Like literally Doom, Valeria, and Invisible Woman, they sit at the tree, right?
Yeah, he's the one who remade the multiverse.
Who is via his power? Who is the most powerful person in the MCU right now? Who is sitting at the tree? It's Loki. Loki is going to be the Molecule Man to Doctor Doom's God in Secret Wars. I think that could work.
Okay, so I get
that's
where
I
you're
was
going.
going with that.
I get where you're going. I get where you're going with that. I'm gonna take it a little bit of a different direction because I was thinking about
add on to it. Feed this. I'm excited about it.
I came from a different direction. All right, so we have Kang Dynasty is the first one, and then it's Secret Wars, right? Yeah. So we have Kang Dynasty. That is going to be
I think that just needs to be what brings the Avengers together.
Kang Dynasty is going to be like Doom Dynasty, right? So essentially what it's going to happen is the Avengers are going to go up against Doom.
Because we don't have an Avengers right now.
Right. So
they need to be brought back. Who better than Kang to do that?
Here's what's going to happen.
And then shove him aside, and then it's...
So Doom is going to essentially... Kang and Doom are going to essentially... Everything's going to happen. Something at the end, though, Kang is going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of everything going back to normal, Doom is going to force Loki out of the seat. He's going to force Loki out of the seat, and he is going to sit where Loki is sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Wars is going to be Loki creating a multiverse Avengers team.
I've heard the multiverse Avengers.
Interesting. I have too. So he's going to go through the multiverse and grab people, which is where we can get Deadpool, which is where
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, all this,
all of that. He goes through the multiverse, and it's him essentially creating the multiverse team to then reclaim his throne as the caretaker of the multiverse.
Right.
And that is going to then solidify as that will be the end of Tom Hiddleston's character of Loki. That will be the last time we see Loki moving
forward. Please, God,
forward.
make it the end of the MCU as well.
That will be the reset. That will be the reset. And you know what? The best way to do that reset is that movie ends with almost I am Iron Man moment, and the snap of the fingers, and you know how the screen it went
white, fade to white. Whatever.
So Loki sits down in his chair. They finally win.
Yeah.
And he goes, "It is time for rebirth."
Yeah.
Done.
MCU rebirth.
Like, fade it to white and be like, "Hey, the MCU is going to get rebooted."
Or what about this? Like at the end of all the Marvel movies, what does it always say?
So then it says the Avengers will return.
I was thinking, because I'm a big proponent of just ending all of this and restarting now that Marvel has all of their properties back. Like you could reboot this and, start from the ground floor up, but include the Fantastic Four and the Avengers and the X-Men and Spider-Man and all that stuff. Yeah. I think that is the best move, especially because Marvel is in the tanks right now.
Or maybe instead
hold on.
Will return.
Marvel will return, or I think it should just say the MCU is end. Or exactly. It should be, because that's the thing, is like the callback to the end of all the Marvel movies is this will return.
Yeah.
Or the MCU won't return. This is it. End. Fine, or whatever. It's something conclusive. Damn. I think that could be super powerful.
Damn, could you imagine it goes fade to white and then all of a sudden you just see Finn?
or like a thank you, or like the MCU has ended, or something final. I think this all does need to come to an end, and
it really does. It really does.
And what better event? MCU don't have a Flashpoint. They do have a Secret Wars though, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But
true. No, I dude, like that.
Fantastic.
Like,
I mean, Loki's the best thing that's
it's
happening
crazy.
to Marvel right now.
This show had got me hyped again for Marvel, just thinking about the possibilities. And the sad part is we have to slog through all of this other crap. Case in point, the Marvels. Which I just want everybody to know, I did not spend money on this movie. I did not.
Russ
I did not. I pirated it, which, you know, FTCC and whatever. I did not. I watched a bootleg version of somebody who recorded it in their own viewing.
That's so
that
funny.
movie is so bad.
It's probably all on Twitter at this point.
Drum roll.
Okay,
I now have a new worst Marvel movie ever. The Marvels.
Bro,
one step above it, Captain Marvel.
Quantumania and Thor: Love and Thunder are still solidly at the bottom for me. I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. I paid for my ticket. I actually had a really nice date with my girlfriend at this point. Nice. It was lovely. She had
what did she think about it?
So that's the thing, right? I had a great time with her because she is of the common people. She knows what Marvel is, but she has not seen all of the films. So literally, as we were sitting in this theater, we were like 2 of the 5 people in this theater. No joke. Nobody's seen this film.
Nobody's going to see this movie. Like, nobody is.
So because of that, I felt comfortable talking to her throughout the whole thing, essentially. Making fun of parts, having fun with it, just talking with her. It was a date, right? That's what you do. But every time a new character would pop up or like a storyline would be explored, I'd lean over to her and be like, oh, you had to watch a TV show to know who that is. I did that 3 separate times. I said, oh, you had to watch the previous Captain Marvel movie to understand that bit right there. Oh, that's another TV show that you had to watch right there. And literally that's never happened to me before because I understand all of this, right? I am caught up. I watch all of it. But it was humbling to sit there and you know, she enjoyed it and she liked it and everything. And it was fun, I think, in a couple parts. I think my experience elevated the movie. I still don't think it's that good because there's pacing and writing is atrocious in many parts and just it doesn't make sense. And there's things I don't like.
They did a power slumber party. What?
It's so weird. But because of that, I was like, wow, the interconnectivity of the MCU at this point has just become a hindrance. And that just fuels my desire for it all to be rebooted even more. So
I can understand that. I think, like, here's the thing.
Too much. We need a loom to weave all this together.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And that's why it's no money because the common people are like so lost. At this point, like my dad ain't coming to see this because he doesn't know what this is.
That's not it. This movie is garbage.
I also think it's not a very good film.
Legitimately garbage. Like the reason nobody came out to see this one is the first one didn't generate enough confidence in this IP. It's
only because it came out between the 2 Avengers movies. Because let's not forget, Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. That's a fact. It did. But it's only because people were clamoring for anything Marvel Avengers related.
That's true.
That's
also
not because Carol carries the weight.
That's not a good movie at all.
No, and it's not a good movie.
It's so bad. It's sad.
It's worse than this though. The Marvels is better than Captain Marvel for sure.
No.
It's definitely more fun. I'd take a funner movie than something boring.
Okay, all right, fine.
And that just might be the fact that I saw it in different context.
If you're, you may be right because like Kamala Khan isn't terrible in this movie either.
I love Iman Vellani,
and I liked the Miss Marvel show. Weirdly enough, crazy enough, and I even admit that like I
remember that
my opinion changed once I actually saw it. But to that point, the problem is that they force Monica Rambeau and Brie Larson to get on her level, so it just turns into like 3 high school girls just screaming and yelling at each other, like, "Oh my god, it's so funny!" Like, ah. I'm not doing that voice again. I think stop. Yikes!
I think
I'll clip that.
I mean, obviously, the best part of this film I liked your impression. I thought that was great. It was very entertaining.
What is the
I
best
think
part?
I think the three actresses, the leads, I think there is something there. I think that's where I enjoyed this film the most, is when they were just hanging out on their ship. Honestly, I thought that was
Brie
kind of fun.
Larson forgets how to act anytime she's in a Marvel movie, apparently.
I was about to say Brie Larson is such a charisma suck. She is a charisma black hole, bro. I felt nothing from her the entire time. I was
She
like,
just has
please.
no personality at all. Like, what?
I thought the most interesting part of her character was that the Kree call her the Annihilator because she went back to their planet and just ruined it. I thought that was cool. I was like, that's the most interesting thing
she
she's
didn't
got
even
going
ruin
on.
it.
No,
But
she didn't.
Like, she didn't even ruin it. She did it on accident because all she did was she went back and destroyed the Supreme Intelligence, their AI, and then that overloaded and exploded.
Which doesn't even look the same as the last movie. They changed that.
She became the Annihilator on pure accident because she accidentally caused a chain reaction.
Not only that, but she did all of that off screen. We didn't see that in Captain Marvel. And I was like, you know how I was leaning over to my girlfriend and like telling her, oh, you had to watch a TV show. I had nothing for that. I was like, that just happened. Like, who knows?
Dude,
it was so messy and just
this movie said one of the biggest problems with this movie is it literally looks at the continuity of Marvel and goes, nah.
Oh yeah. Secret Invasion, who cares? Didn't happen. The Skrulls are fine. Like, dude, what is happening?
And yeah, it does which for a movie that, as you just said, ties in to so many shows and everything, the fact that they did not tie into Secret Invasion astounds me. And the fact that this is step 5, 6, 7, 8 into turning Nick Fury into just a cuddly old grandpa. Like, what is happening? The fact that their whole idea of an escape plan is just to feed people to kittens.
Go off. I hated that. I thought that was stupid.
What?
That makes no sense.
What? Let's continue to go on to the fact that they have no idea what Miss Marvel's power set is at all.
It wildly fluctuates.
They don't know if it's going to be tied. If it's tied to the bangles.
Is it bangles? Is it quantum? Is it just light? Is it? What is this?
Is she an X-Men? What is
she a mutant? They said she was a mutant in her TV series. Am I wrong? No.
Yes,
they literally said that.
They literally said that. They don't know what's going on with her. Like they don't. This lady who's the villain doesn't make any damn sense either. Like,
no story there. They don't even bother exploring it.
What's with her hammer? Why does the energy from the Bangalore feed into her hammer? Why is that power all of a sudden creating
why does it
like crappy spaceports that are now gonna destroy the multiverse?
Why does it feel like her hammer is supposed to be Ronan's hammer from the Guardians movie, but when he got the Power Stone, it didn't do any of that when he had?
Why does the incursion of the multiverse look different than Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah, there's no continuity there.
We've decided to turn it into the spaceports that we saw in Guardians. I thought that was just space travel.
The jump ports in Guardians are the gateway to the multiverse. Now all of a sudden are you smoking crack? What?
Nobody who wrote this film
Beast from the X-Men?
Whoever wrote this film watched about
50%
of the Marvel movies and said, "Oh, I got this."
You know what?
Let's hold on. Let's talk about the end real quick. Let's talk about the end. So first off,
it's not the Multiverse of Madness universe, by the way.
No, it's not. You get this battle between all of this women's boss battle. You get this thing, and all of a sudden they realize, they're like, "Hey, wait, we could compromise here, guys." Like, they've got the villain down. They're like, "Dude, we can restart your son. Everything perfect. We can do this." And she's like,
"Everything she did worked. Just find uninhabitable planets, and you're good. Or planets that do not have life on them but can sustain atmosphere. Easy fix. It makes no sense. It's dumb.
So she's like, okay, fine, like help restart my sun, and she's like, wait, not. And
Psych,
then
I want power.
Yeah. So then she like forces Captain Marvel to go after her. In an explosion, it decides to rip a tear in the multiverse for some odd reason, which I can understand that a bit because they are quantum bands. Like, okay, fine. Like we're finally starting to go towards the comic book origin of what the quantum bands are, but also say, nah, whatever. So then Monica Rambeau is like, hey, I can do this. I can fix it. Also, why the hell does she have to get on the other side of the multiverse portal to fix this? Why can't you fix this from this side? Then you never get trapped on the other side?
I just think it baffles me that there's like a fake wall separating all of our universes. That's just the stupidest concept.
Well, okay.
And then you have America Chavez. What is America Chavez's powers for Multiverse of Madness?
Also true.
The way they traverse the multiverse, that's not what they're doing here. What the hell is happening?
Also true. But to that point, I will give it the point of like the way the Flash has always described the multiverse is that these universes are shifting at different frequencies. So there is like a veil between them, which if that's the case, then fine. That makes sense. Whatever. But this
that's
movie
not what this has been up until now.
Yeah,
it's just
this movie and none of the MCU have ever explained how the multiverse works or how it's not, you can't see anything. So anyways, Monica Rambeau gets trapped on the other side of the in this other dimension.
Is she in the Fox universe?
For no reason. For no reason, because like she could have just stayed on our side of the universe and fixed the hole from that side. But for some reason, she had to get on the other side. Doesn't make any sense.
So dumb.
So then Captain Marvel is like, hey, you know what? I promised I would go restart the sun.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go restart the sun real quick. She has never outputted the amount of power that it would take to restart the sun. Ever. The most she's ever done is used herself as a human an indestructible wrecking ball to go through Thanos' ship in Endgame and like give Thanos a run for his money. That is all she's ever done. So how in the hell is she just like, I'll be right back.
That's the thing.
Goes to the sun, goes into the sun, restarts a sun, comes out of it looking completely normal. Completely normal. And I have a rant on this because comic book version Carol Danvers, when she outputs that much power, she goes like super seance. Like think anime. Think like Dragon Ball Z. Like she doesn't just stay normal. She literally turns into living energy and becomes what they call binary. Like that's what she becomes. And yet, nope, she'll just, look, I'm still human, guys.
It's weird that they had an opportunity to showcase the binary form and just didn't take it. So now if they want to do binary again, they either have to do it differently or do this again, which is so freaking dumb.
But also they ruined it too by giving the actual Captain Marvel binary costume to freaking nobody asked McGee, Monica Rambeau from this alternate universe.
And they never bothered giving her actual comic book form like ever. And they just
also they were like, oh hey, we're gonna Marvelify the crap out of Rambeau's costume. So now it's just it's just our sword spacesuit, which is okay, fine, whatever. I don't care about this character enough to care that she got her comic accurate. Anyways.
You had to watch another show to understand that.
But at least it's like at least give her name Photon.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? If you're not going to do what they do in the comics, why have this character at all?
10 minutes of Miss Marvel talking about, we'll workshop something, and never once Photon.
It's never resolved. It's like, what is the setup of this joke if you're not going to be like, oh yeah, we've settled on Photon.
This movie is so brain dead, it's not even funny.
I like Kelsey Grammer's Beast, so that was kind of cool to see, but it still is.
So let's get into the end credit scene. Let's get into the end credit scene because she wakes up. Oh hey, I'm gonna wake up in this new alternate universe. She looks over and hey, good. Guess what? It's nobody asked for. Nobody asked for this. It's mom in the binary.
Oh yeah, that's where the binary costume. I forgot. Crazy.
And then all of a sudden, Kelsey Grammer's Beast walks in.
The X-Men theme is literally playing. I was like,
to be honest, the CGI was rough from what I saw. Because again, I was watching like a 480p version of this movie. So from what it looked like, the CGI was pretty rough on him.
It was. Are you asking me what I thought? Because I saw it. Yeah. It was totally computer generated. It's like a motion capture performance. Yeah. I don't even know if they used Kelsey Grammer's likeness.
I don't even know if it was his voice.
It was definitely his voice. Okay. But it's a new model. It's not the Nicholas Hoult version. It doesn't look anything like Kelsey Grammer Beast from X-Men: The Last Stand.
To that point, what I will say is,
it's just the voice.
Having seen it,
and it might be AI generated. Who knows? Like, does Kelsey Grammer even know like this is happening to him?
Having seen it in 480p, I will say that is the most comic accurate Beast.
Yeah, it's Beast.
I've seen.
Looks great. There's even like
because I don't like that. I didn't like Kelsey Grammer's look as Beast. I liked Nicholas Holt's look of Beast much more than I did Kelsey Grammer's. But this actually looked like this looked like the Beast that I would have seen in the X-Men animated series.
Yeah, it felt more aligned with that version. And I did appreciate that underneath the lab coat, there was a hint of a blue and gold suit, which was cool to see. I like Kelsey Grammer Beast, and if they want to bring him over, cool. I just hate how we got to this point.
Yeah.
And the jump points and all that.
Like, to this point, we are also at an hour and 20, so we need to wrap this up. I realize that it is what it is. To that point, I have heard, I was hearing whispers of this, was that this was going to lead into Deadpool 3.
Yeah,
which makes sense, because if this is X-Men, what this means is that this is going to be the Fox universe that she just stumbled into, which also means that I have to watch another movie with this girl, Monica Rambeau, in it. And I don't care about Monica Rambeau. Why?
That was the last thing I said was, oh, to understand this character, you have to watch a whole different franchise. So that was the culmination of that whole thing that night. This movie's weird. It's goofy. It's everything that I hate about the MCU in a nutshell.
It's goofy to the point of not making any damn sense.
Yeah. And it's a shame because I think Iman Vellani deserves better, because I think she is perfectly casted as Miss Marvel. I think she's tremendous. But
also,
I don't really have anything else.
Yes, I agree. But also, whose decision? Whose decision was it? Whose decision was it to make that poor girl reenact the Nick Fury scene from the end of Iron Man 1 when she's going to recruit Kate Bishop?
Oh, the Kid Avengers,
Kid Avengers thing. Also, Kate Bishop is 23 years old. Why? Why is this 16-year-old
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
In her apartment? Like,
bro, Marvel has lost the plot so bad. I bet, bro, Kevin Feige probably on suicide watch at this point. Has anybody checked on him?
No, this is Kevin Feige's fault.
My boy out. No, it can't be. I refuse to believe that Kevin Feige is at the helm anymore. This is not the same man who gave us the Infinity Saga.
I saw a report. I literally just saw a report. Kevin Feige was almost quit.
Poor man.
Marvel. Almost quit Marvel because of the lack of diversity in Avengers 1.
Whoa, what? I didn't hear that.
Literally just saw this report today. Almost left Marvel because of the lack of diversity in Avengers 1. So this is 100% his fault. This is the culmination of his fault.
Yes, it is. It's just a shame to see that this is where we're at, because the Infinity Saga was great.
Kevin Feige
will always have that, thankfully.
Pulled the rug out of all of us. He said, oh yeah, guess what? I'm going to give you this really cool series. I'm going to give you all the way up to Endgame, and then it's all over. I'm going to watch it all burn, baby. He went full Joker.
That's an actual impression of Kevin Feige, by the way. That's
Kevin Feige went full Joker.
He did.
He and Kathleen Kennedy are probably just sitting in a trailer, just jumping up in joy, just like.
He said, "This franchise deserves a better class of executive, and I'm gonna give it to it. Everything burns, and here's the MCU now." It's so
also
stupid.
Just going back to just literally the poor this. I feel so bad for this actor who plays Miss Marvel, because they're shoehorning her into everything, and it hurts. I just talked about this with Joe. Talk about a better ending. Like, yes, like freaking Hawkeye should have died in Endgame. It shouldn't have been Natasha. Natasha should be, what she should be doing right now is she should be, you know how we have that lady who's going to be the handler for the
Valentina,
the Thunderbolts band, Valentina. Natasha Romanoff should be the handler for the Young Avengers. She should be like Den Mom. She should be like, hey guys.
Yeah, she's always looking for family, right? That's her whole thing, is family.
And like at the end of Endgame, what does she do? She finds her family and finds her purpose. But like, instead of dying,
the Avengers were her family,
and like cutting her off and treating that character like crap for an organization that talks about diversity, you just murdered the two best characters, her and freaking Maria Hill, for no reason.
Maria Hill, yeah. R.I.P.
I mean, even like
no
for
love.
no reason.
Yeah.
Could have made her, hey, you're going to, like, she could have been tough love mom of like, hey, I'm going to whip these kids into shape. You have the Young Avengers. And then you know what? She also shows up in Thunderbolts. She could have showed up in Thunderbolts, seen her actual family. But then also we could have gotten her and Sebastian Stan and could have actually gotten some Winter Soldier, Black Widow of like, hey, you remember our past? And
they didn't interact at all.
Bucky could have been like, "Oh my god, I do now." That would have been great. Like,
throw Black Widow and Falcon and Winter Soldier. She could have added something
also
there.
True.
Don Cheadle does nothing, so like, why not Black Widow?
Exactly. Yes,
dude. It's a long one.
This movie just is so brain dead and so it so misses the plot.
It's literally all the problems of the MCU in a nutshell, and so it couldn't have come out at a better time, because it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Hopefully, they're now scrambling to change things for the better.
Especially when we got the report from Variety of like, oh, the MCU is not working, and then you see this movie, and you're like, case in point.
I don't care about the MCU, because you can have. Like the first Wonder Woman movie was great. Female lead, nobody talks about it. It's fine. You can have great female leads.
I enjoyed Wonder Woman.
You gotta make it work.
Well, because that's the problem. Everybody is talking about this movie like the problem is the fact that all this toxic masculinity is getting in the way of why.
The problem is that it's female leads. No, like, that's not it at all. It's
no. Guys, what was the number one grossing movie this year? Barbie. What is that? A female-led movie. So don't pull your head out of your own ass and realize that this is not about this being a female-led movie. This is about a movie that is just pandering for pandering's sake.
The biggest problem with the MCU right now is not that there's so many females or that it's diverse. They're flooding it with diversity. It's not.
The trailer for Echo looks amazing.
Echo looks awesome.
A female-led
film. The problem is just a severe lack of clarity and focus in what this is moving forward. There's so much now, and there's so many different tones and writers, and people want to do their own things. There's the like I said earlier, the interconnectivity has become such a hindrance at this point, and they just need to focus their projects, focus the story. Are we focusing on Kang? Are we focusing on Valentina Allegra? Where are the Avengers? literally tell me who the Avengers are right now and I'll drop this argument. But you can't, because we don't have Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's you got to have that kind of stuff, because that's what's worked so far.
I think this focus on individual characters and not pushing to connect to a team,
and that started with the streaming stuff.
Has really struggled. Like, yeah, that's the problem too, is like the streaming has become, instead of becoming a great additive, like Falcon and Winter Soldier had the opportunity to be a great additive, to be that Captain America 3.5. And if that's how you would have treated streaming, as like a, hey, this is a 0.5 to this specific character. Oh, hey, Hawkeye is really yet. Okay, this is a Hawkeye 0.5 because we're getting introduced to who Hawkeye is not going to be in the next Avengers team, but Kate Bishop might. And so now you're building this other character, so that way, okay, there's the introduction. If you want a more in-depth introduction, you watch that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, yes, you're not wrong, but also it's a lot. There's a lot more, I think, than just the interconnectivity. I think the interconnectivity is fine. I just think they've forgotten the characters. Like, that's my issue, is like none of this, like they feel like, again, it's pandering for pandering's sake, and they've stopped focusing in on, like, okay, here's the character. Here's the character we're going to focus on. Let's do something that makes sense for that character. Oh, here's Captain America. What's the first Captain America going to be? Okay, it's going to be a historical 1940s-esque propaganda film. Perfect. Okay, what's the next one going to be? Okay, well, he's in the modern day. Oh, okay, this is a Captain America who's struggling to learn what he's fighting for. Okay, let's make it a spy thriller, because that's the most un-Captain America thing possible. And what do we want? We want him to feel like a fish out of water. Perfect.
To that,
boom. Then we're going to go, okay, what's the next one? Okay, well, this is the Captain America that now knows what he's fighting for, but now is going to have a very different idea of what he's fighting for to one of his friends that he has been fighting for with. Oh, that makes sense. Boom. What do you have? The 3 best movies of the Marvel
That's how you
universe.
get a banger trilogy right there. That's how you get the strongest content MCU has had.
It's not that hard.
And look at what happens when you treat a character with respect. You get stuff like Loki, which is being universally praised.
You get stuff like Logan.
And Logan, yeah.
You get all of these other properties are doing it. And Marvel has just said, nah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get so focused on the 2000s politics that we're going to shoehorn it into every film possible, and we're going to make you forget what the hell is going on. Because diversity is not the problem, folks, because Shang-Chi is a great ass movie.
I like Shang-Chi.
It's a great movie.
What's that have to do with anything now, though? Because it's like, what
is he doing? Because
what are the 10 rings? Are those quantum bangle energy? Are those a gateway to the multiverse? Like, what are we doing? Is Shang-Chi on the Avengers? Those are the questions, and they're not being answered. And it's like, I think that's the worst sin being committed by Marvel right now, is who are the Avengers? Because in those early MCU movies, it was all building to that team up film, baby. That's where the big money is at. And
they did a good job.
What are we doing right now?
They did a good job of focusing in on one character, but then also like saying, "Hey, there's some more. There's more coming. Here's the little tease. Oh, you have Captain America. Oh, he's now in modern day. Obviously, he's going to be on the Avengers. Oh, Thor has Loki. Oh, Loki sets up the Tesseract. Oh, Loki sounds like that makes sense. He's probably going to be the villain. Oh, hey, look, there's Hawkeye.
He's going to shoot Thor.
Oh,
Hawkeye, wait, don't stop.
Yeah. Oh, Iron Man. Oh, hey, Iron Man 2. Yeah, Iron Man 2. Not a great film, but hey, sets up literally the Avengers.
Easy.
It's not a great film, but it is a guilty pleasure film for me, because I watch it and still have fun.
I think it's still a decent film. I was about to say
I didn't say it wasn't a bad. It was not a bad film. It's just not a great film.
Yeah. we're talking about early phase 1, and I think recent Marvel stuff has just made me appreciate those films more. Like because
absolutely.
of Loki, I found myself watching Thor: The Dark World clips. I have not thought or touched that movie in probably 6 years. But I'm going back and watching Loki's part and all of that. I'm like, this is great. This is fantastic. It's like he and Hemsworth, Hiddleston and Hemsworth, and their chemistry in those Thor films is tremendous.
Thor: The Dark World,
I do miss some of that stuff sometimes,
the biggest
and that's where
issue
that movie shines.
The biggest issue with Thor: The Dark World is the villain. That's the only part about that film that ends up making that film fall apart. Everything else about that
I think
film
the plot is kind of weak too, but
the plot surrounding the villain.
It's a lot of Earth stuff, too,
like surrounding the aether, whatever the hell that is.
The reality stone,
the red stuff,
the ether, the
reality.
Well, when I knew it was more of an angry sludge.
Yeah, exactly. But
hey, can we probably gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up.
I yawned once, and then I haven't been able to stop yawning since.
I yawned once, and then I got into my rant, so then I got some extra energy.
Honestly, though, we needed to just get a lot of these topics on the board so that we can move on, because we didn't meet last week, and it just all that news starts piling up. So I loved Loki, didn't love the Marvels. Next week we'll probably explore a little bit of Invincible.
Yeah, definitely do a little bit more
some comics maybe. I'll pick up Ultimates.
There's some video game stuff. Like I played COD and stuff, so we'll have some fun stuff to talk about, and maybe we'll also just do maybe we'll find some weird spitballing of ideas for MCU stuff to talk about too. We'll see.
Yeah, I could talk about plans that I have to improve the MCU all day.
Yeah,
but yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming to this extra long episode. We
giant-sized.
Yeah, we will
comics a la mode, as it were.
But yeah, so we will see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
And have a good Thanksgiving. That's next week, right? So
yes, but
do you want to? Oh, that's something. Do you want to meet next week? Do you want to have an episode next week?
I'm down meeting Monday. So yeah,
me too.
We will see you guys next week. Later.